Santas. What's the most wholesome thing a kid has ever asked for? I've been playing Santa at Westfield Mall for 12 years now. Seen thousands of kids climb onto my lap with their Christmas wishes. I've heard it all. Video games, phones, ponies, cars, even one kid who seriously wanted a live T-Rex in his backyard. Most kids have these long, elaborate lists. They pull out crumpled pieces of paper with everything they saw in toy commercials. Some parents hover nearby whispering reminders about being polite. But last December, right before Christmas, this little girl walked up to my chair. She couldn't have been more than 6 years old. Messy brown hair tied back with a rubber band, wearing this faded pink dress that was clearly hand-me-down and way too big for her tiny frame. She didn't have a list, didn't have parents hovering, just this serious expression on her face like she was carrying the weight of the world. She climbed onto my lap really carefully like she was afraid she might break something. Then she leaned in close and whispered something so quietly I had to lean all the way down to hear her. Santa, can you please make my daddy not sad anymore? I've been doing this job for over a decade. Kids have asked for deceased pets to come back, for their parents to stop fighting, even for world peace. But something about the way she said it made my chest tight. I asked her what she meant by daddy being sad. She looked around to make sure no one was listening, then whispered again, he cries every night after he thinks I'm asleep. I can hear him through the wall between our rooms. My heart started breaking right there in my Santa suit. I asked her to tell me more. He tries to be quiet, but I know. He makes these really soft crying sounds, and sometimes I hear him talking to mommy's picture. I asked her where her mommy was. She looked down at her hands. Mommy went to heaven last year when she got really sick. Now daddy works at 2 different jobs so we can keep our house and buy food. This little girl continued explaining how her father would come home exhausted every night, how he'd heat up dinner for her but barely eat anything himself, how he'd help her with homework even though she could tell he was falling asleep. He thinks I don't notice, but I see everything. He's always tired and sometimes he just stares at nothing for a long time. She looked up at me with these huge brown eyes that seemed way too old for her face. I don't need any toys this year, Santa. I don't want dolls or games or anything like that. I just want my daddy to smile again like he used to when mommy was still here. I had to fight back actual tears in front of a mall full of families doing their Christmas shopping. This little girl didn't want a single thing for herself. She just wanted her father's happiness back. I told her that Santa would see what he could do, but it might take some special Christmas magic. She nodded seriously and hugged me tight. Thank you, Santa. Daddy says I'm not supposed to ask for things that are too hard, but I figured you might be able to help. She climbed down and ran back to her dad, who was standing about 20 feet away near the food court. He looked absolutely exhausted. Dark circles under his eyes, wearing a work uniform from some auto shop that had clearly seen better days. But the moment she ran to him, his whole face transformed. He scooped her up and spun her around, and for those few seconds, you could see glimpses of who he used to be. After my shift ended, I couldn't stop thinking about them. I asked mall security to check their camera footage so I could figure out who they were. I had to help somehow. Turns out the dad's name was Kevin, and he worked at Murphy's Auto Repair across the street from the mall. The next day was my day off, so I drove over there. I walked in and found Kevin under the hood of an old sedan, completely focused on his work. When I approached him, I told him I was with a local charity organization that helps single parents during the holiday season. Complete lie, but I needed a way to help without making him feel like charity case. I explained that his family had been selected to receive assistance this Christmas. Groceries, gift cards for clothing, and even some childcare help while he worked his 2 jobs. Kevin stopped what he was doing and just stared at me. Then he started crying right there in the middle of the garage, oil still on his hands. I've been praying every night for some kind of miracle, he said through tears. I just want to give my daughter a good Christmas, but I don't know how I'm gonna make it happen. He told me about working at the auto shop during the day and cleaning office buildings at night, about falling asleep at red lights and drinking too much coffee just to stay awake. She's all I have left in this world, he said. I just want to be a good dad for her, but I feel like I'm failing every single day. That night, I called everyone I knew, my church group, my neighbors, even my coworkers. I organized a collection for Kevin and his daughter. Within 3 days, we had enough money for groceries, presents, and even some extra to help with their bills. I also arranged for some of the church ladies to help with babysitting so Kevin could get some rest. On Christmas morning, I put on my Santa suit one more time and drove to their house. When I knocked on the door, the little girl answered and her face just exploded with pure joy. Santa, you came to our house! You really came! She was jumping up and down, calling for her daddy to come see. Kevin appeared in the doorway, took one look at me standing there with bags full of presents and groceries, and started crying all over again. But this time, they were happy tears. The kind of tears that come when you realize you're not alone in the world. I can't believe this is real, he kept saying. Thank you so much. We spent the morning opening presents and sharing breakfast. The little girl got her toys and clothes, but what she really wanted was happening right in front of her. Her daddy was smiling. Really, truly smiling for the first time in months. 3 years have passed since then, and they still send me Christmas cards every year. Kevin met a wonderful woman named Beth who works at the hospital. They got married last summer. In their most recent Christmas card, there's a photo of all 3 of them together, grinning at the camera in front of their Christmas tree. The little girl, who's 9 now, wrote a message on the back. Dear Santa, thank you for giving me the best present ever. My daddy is happy again, and now I have a new mommy who loves us both. That's when I realized that being Santa isn't really about the toys you hand out or the wishes you pretend to grant. It's about bringing hope to families who need it most.